Okay, so guys, welcome to this month's discussion. We're going to talk about something that we've not talked about in Overdrive before, motor related of course. Basically, we'd like your feedback after this as well, so what do you think? The pros and cons of, I suppose, buying a new or newish car on finance or on a PCP or whether we'll talk about the different agreements.
They seem to call them lots of different names.
They do.
It's all finance.
And I suppose buying an old car, not paying it outright. Or a new one outright if you can afford it, but I can't. So, what? I suppose I should ask these guys. What are your first initial thoughts on this?
Well, Malcolm just saying it to me. I'll let Malcolm kick off.
Should we look at pros?
Well, he's just said he was in a position where he's never actually had.
The only time I've ever had a new car has been when it's been a company car.
Company, that's it.
And you see, one of the bugbears for me is you buy a car, you buy it brand new, and before it's even gone off the forecourt, the value, its actual second-hand value has plummeted.
I'll be the first to admit that, the depreciation just goes.
Yeah, and some cars are worse than others. I mean, probably one of the best cars at the minute is the Dacia Sandero. Because that's taken so long to get to just drop to half of its initial resale value.
True, yeah.
But you can lose 10-15% of a car's value just by buying it.
Driving it off.
And you haven't driven it off the forecourt. And to me, that's, why should I take that hit? Why should I do that?
Yeah.
I'd rather get the car later on when the problems have been, any problems that could be with it have been niggled out. I mean, there's not so many problems these days with new cars, but there used to be all sorts of things. But the other thing is as well, I mean, I'm driving around in a 17-year-old car. It's mine, it's bought outright, it wasn't even bought, it was swapped.
Well, yeah.
It was free actually.
Yeah.
Let's get down to the details.
So it was mine outright, no problem with it. I don't owe anything on it. It doesn't owe me anything.
Yeah.
More crucially, and I know the only thing I've got to worry about in terms of monthly payments are the fuel, the tax, and the insurance.
Yeah.
That's the only monthly insurance.
I will admit, coming from my point of view, I've been in both. I've owned cars outright, and as with this one, I pay monthly for it.
But now you're always interested as well, because not to go into Martin's personal details too much, but I believe you financed half the car on your roundabout.
Yeah, you see, with me, because people find this out, I'm a beggar for swapping my cars left, right, and centre. But I sort of got myself in a position where I wasn't in any negative, I could say. I was ahead. I did it in such a way where let's say I've not as much to pay back. It's not like here it is and you're forking out a lot. The car, as many people will know, was a Puma before it, which I bought myself.
Yeah. That
was my own. Didn't have it for a great length of time, but I have been in positions before with other cars where I've actually owned all the vehicle outright, and I've also had a car fully on finance as well as I am now with things. There is some benefits with the fact you are covered with a lot of things, with your full warranty and things like that. And there is certain things, if there's an issue, whip it back to the garage. You don't have to fork a lot out. Because there is a flip side. I hear some people that have cars and say, "Oh, well, it's my own car and all that." "Oh, well, how much did it cost you this month apart from fuel and that?" Well, I had to get that sorted, and then a month before that, I had to pay 300 odd and get that sorted. And I think sometimes, it's not everyone, but sometimes they just throw money at a car just to keep it on the road.
Yeah, and this is why we want to talk about the pros and cons. Now, just like Martin, I've been in those situations. I've had cars on finance. At the moment, I've got 2 cars that are bought and paid for. And I've not only had finance, but I've had different types of finance. So I've had now my Toyota Aygo and the Fiesta E-Tech. I said they were both brand new. They're the only brand new cars I've ever had. They were both on what they call PCP agreements. So in other words, you pay a normal deposit like you do in a normal agreement, and then you effectively save a chunk to the end.
Yeah,
so you pay
like a balloon payment.
So your balloon payment. So your payments in the meantime are lower than they will be on normal HP. So you're not paying the full amount of the car basically. Now I've also had cars, second-hand cars that I tend to have bought about 2 or 3 years old where they've been on a normal HP agreement. So you're paying the full amount of the car. So your payments are higher over your 3, 4 or 5 years, however long you have it. But after that, there's no balloon payment. You know, the car's yours. The last car I had was that situation, and I just got a little bit tired of it. Really, I thought, you know, I can do more with £200 a month and just give it to a finance company. So luckily, I managed to get out of that agreement without costing too much money, and then, as you know, buy the Chevrolet that's been on overdrive, and been running that since March. And you know, it saves, you know, a fair chunk of money every month. I don't not always notice it this year because I've been able to buy stuff like a new TV and things like that I wouldn't have been able to buy paying for that car.
You see, I look at it this way, that certain things, well, that I pay a month for my car, I know I'd still be spending it elsewhere. There's not a great other deal of things I want to fork out for. But I also look at it this way, the car that's sat on there, on my drive, I don't intend to keep.
No.
So if I had it bought outright, I probably still will be saying, well, I'm not going to keep this car long, I'll be looking at selling it at some point. So as finance to me rolls,
it's better.
It's fine.
Yeah. This is just the thing as well. I know there's a lot of YouTubers that I watch. Well, I know the car YouTubers. I know I've got one in mind in particular, and he's got a fleet of about 10 cars, and about 8 of them are bought and paid for. We're talking very expensive cars, but they're bought and paid for, and 2 of them are on finance, and the 2 that are on finance are the ones that he's absolutely definitely sure that he's not going to keep long term.
Yeah.
And so there's no point in throwing that
massive amount of money.
He probably could.
Don't get me wrong. When I had my Focus RS, I wanted that car so much. The only way to do it at the time was finance. I got the payments down low and good, but it was on the case of I would reach a point where it'd be like a small payment at the end, or I could basically hand that car back to them, walk away minus the car, but with nothing else to pay. They'd technically have some goods to sell then, and then make the money back again that way. Or you could, you know, like I said, pay this balloon payment off, or refinance it.
So that was the PCP.
Start all over again. Yeah.
Mind you, can't PCP, can't PCP bite you in the backside though?
It can.
Yes,
it can
be. Yeah. I would have said at the time, if the situation wouldn't have changed with my father and things like that, I would have continued with that car to the end and kept that car. Because of the nature of the car it was. But as with some cars I've had that have been fairly bog standard ones or whatever, no, it's just been a little bit like a throwaway commodity.
No, I mean, I had a PCP, like I said, on a brand new Toyota Aygo a few years ago, and should we say underestimated the mileage that I'd been doing at the time. So with PCPs, you're also mileage limited. I think this was about 10,000 a year, and I'm sure that's for more than that. But anyway, that's what the agreement was. And I ended up doing, I think it was about 15,000 miles a year. You know, and so obviously I managed to part exchange the car and everything was all sorted out and dusted. But had I kept that car to its full 3 years, I would have then been left with a bill for excess mileage. Well, and I think it was about 6p a mile or something like that.
When I had my Tangerine Screen Focus, that was on that where there was a thing on the mileage, and I've still got the old finance documents upstairs, and that was if you're over, it was 10 pence a mile.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, I nearly looked. I mean, I was looking around at not a new car, but a nearly new car, and they kept offering me a PCP, and I looked at it, and it's like, no, it'll never work for me because I mean, as it turned out, it's a good job I didn't, because in that particular year they were saying, oh, you'll be limited to 10,000 miles a year. Well, that's really good, but in that particular year I did 23,000 miles.
Yeah.
So it's an absolutely useless finance, and this last couple of months I'd have been okay with that, but now my job's changing again, and I'm driving. I can't guarantee being under 15.
You see, as I am with this one now, I found I'm doing less mileage going backwards and forwards to work and in this than what I did with the other cars I've had.
But yeah, I think it really depends on your personal.
Well, it depends on a lot of. It's not just always the finance on the vehicle; it's the person's circumstances as well. You've got to think other things that you might have to pay out monthly that are not car related.
Yeah.
Everything you've always got to budget for everything you might pay out monthly.
I mean, with the Chevrolet, with me, I pay everything up front, so the road tax and the car insurance, anything like that, it doesn't come out monthly, it comes out once a year. I know I could do it monthly if I wanted to. So that's good, it keeps it, you know, your monthly outgoings as low as possible. And I know Malcolm's forever telling me you're not saving anything in your road tax, and he's probably bang on right, but that's just how I've gone up till now.
Actually, no, you are, because if you pay your road tax monthly, it's the equivalent of paying 2 lots of 6 months, which is more expensive than paying 1 lot 12 months.
Yes.
And you do actually wind up often paying a little bit more on the insurance as well. But the thing is, you've not got to worry about having that bulk payment at that point in time. Because if things have been bad running up, I mean, I've had the most horrendous couple of years.
I know, yeah.
And, you know, there's no way on this earth I can actually afford to pay off the insurance, even though it's not massively expensive, but I just cannot get that money together.
Right.
The only way I could get that money together is to not be paying the insurance in the first place.
Yeah.
it's like a vicious circle, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it comes down to personal circumstances and preference. You know, but that's just the way I've gone up till now.
Another reason why I always go for, when I can, a new car as well, and it's not to do with finance. I always look at it as well. You don't have to MOT a car for 3 years, and 9 times out of 10, I never MOT a car. Because they've gone before that time.
Well, this is what I wanted to touch on. I wanted to talk on the advantages. Now, advantages obviously a new car, like Martin says, you don't have to MOT it for 3 years. There's often quite competitive service packages.
Well, the thing is, especially with this Fiesta ST line, I will say, and it's all Fiestas as a whole, they don't do one first service, a proper major service, for 2 years.
It's 2 years, yeah.
I may not even have this car serviced in the time I own it. It's had one pre-check over about 3 months ago, and that is it.
And so there's advantages like that. Also, obviously, I suppose you've got peace of mind of reliability. Nothing's ever guaranteed 100%, but the chances are with a new car, you can.
Well, I won't always say reliability. I will say the peace of mind you do get is if something goes wrong, it's covered under warranty. Let's say most general things.
Yeah.
And you can. Some people do pay extra for more things, but I won't say it gives you reliability that something won't go wrong, because new cars can fail less than old.
Yeah. But it's a bit more peace of mind in terms of getting it fixed, I suppose.
Yes, it gives you that peace of mind.
Yeah. But the thing is as well, though, depending on what sort of car you get, the amount you pay a month could actually be more expensive than the car's first MOT works out as.
True, and also your monthly payments, if you're in an
you're paying that once a year, whereas when you're paying it monthly, you're paying it every single month.
If you start dialing down and breaking a lot of things down, it could be a bit of a mind bender actually when you start really thinking about it.
Usually, nothing's guaranteed, but usually on an older car, probably your road tax is going to be a bit more expensive. But paying that monthly figure out on a new car every month is probably still going to be more expensive than paying a slightly more expensive road tax every year.
Well, you see, I'll just mention something here how I found out, which is a bit of a blow. As everyone knows, I've got this Fiesta ST line. I am pondering about getting the full fat ST. I may wait longer, it may happen soon, I'm not quite sure yet. There's a lot of things in balance. But the one thing that's sort of swayed me that way is purely because that car out there is a 1 litre engine car. But the insurance is nearly the same as an ST for me, right? The tyres it sat on are exactly the same tyres as what they put on the ST. Everything, the body shape and all lot. I'm sort of paying for a 1 litre Fiesta with a ST body kit on, where I could be paying just a little bit over that for the full fat. And I find that a bit odd. The road tax is exactly the same for an ST line 1 litre and a 1.5 ST. It's a bit bizarre how all the prices are nearly panning out the same, give or take a little bit of insurance, and that's about it.
And the other thing you might get is a slight increase in fuel.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be that good though, this 1.5 litre engine as well, but I suppose my journey and the fuel's going to be roughly about the same.
And I suspect your monthly payments for a car are not going to be too much higher on a PCP because of the better retail value of the ST.
That's the thing.
So it probably doesn't work
so
out.
So sometimes think, should I have actually waited on a bit and just gone and got an ST?
Yeah. Well, you've got that one now. So
well, what I did that more as an exercise, because for all I knew, I could have got this Fiesta and not
I liked it.
Yeah. and that'll be in the end of it.
So,
The last thing you want to do is buy your hero and find you don't like it.
Yeah, so at least I know the Fiesta as a whole is a decent car to drive, not just a high-powered one, but the whole of them.
that said, though, old cars not necessarily unreliable. We only need to look at, I suppose, mine and especially Malcolm's Road 75 to know that yes, it's had a few things done here and there, hasn't it?
Look at my Puma as well.
Yeah.
But that car is nearly 180. Well, is it
It's
190,000?
nearly 190,000.
190,000 miles, and you know it does make you wonder. You think, do I really need that brand new number plate? I mean, it does make you wonder.
Well, don't get me wrong. It's like I said, I've had 21 cars. If you include the Motability cars as well, but if you take them out of the equation, I've had a good 16, 17 cars of my own. But I'd say most of them, they haven't all been new.
No.
My Electric Orange ST was used. My facelift one of that was used. The RS was used.
Yeah.
Just because some of them landed on finance, they didn't mean to say they rolled out of a showroom brand new. They
That's
was
the
used.
interesting thing, though. I mean, if you look at the finance statistics at the moment, the second-hand market is now far bigger than the new car market. It passed about 2017, and it's just been growing ever since. The new car market is still falling year on year.
You see, the thing is, they're absolutely flooding the market with new cars. The moment they're out new, they become used.
Yeah.
The moment they pass on to they're a used car. So people now that used to think, oh, I'm looking for a used car, I'll have to be careful, careful. No, because they're getting so many good quality used cars. I mean, they're nearly practically new.
And the thing is as well, it is new, based on new finance deals alone. I mean, the used car market has always been pretty big. But just going on finance deals, the used car market is massive, whereas the second-hand car market is massive, whereas the new car market is falling in on itself, and it's not just here, it's worldwide.
Having said that, though, most new cars that are sold are on an agreement of some kind.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I suppose everywhere you drive, you can just take a look at any car that passes you, whoever's driving and whatever car they are, you can guarantee that probably 90% of them will be on finance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm afraid to say, but it's the way we live the world today. Most things are usually on tick and things like that. We're a throwaway society where we don't care if someone's probably just going to get another one. And even young'uns nowadays can be presented with a credit card with an overdraft of whatever. They can spend, and maybe it's too much.
But I don't think this is everywhere. I mean, when we had our trip to Portugal a couple of years ago, the thing that struck me, Malcolm, was how many old cars were still on the road that you just don't see here. I mean,
was he in good condition? Was he in good condition?
Yeah.
Well, they were in okay condition, but they were being used. That's the point.
You see, because I've got a thing about in other countries where the climate might be better, would older cars fare better? I mean, we know a lot of cars do.
It seems certainly seems the case, isn't it? But I don't think it's just that. I think you didn't see many new cars.
No, you didn't. I remember when we were going out as well, we'd see all those little cars outside. We'd say, oh, we haven't seen one of them for years.
Peugeot 205s everywhere.
So it was bygone car spotting.
I mean, even the Rover products seem to be doing well. I think I spotted about 9 while I was over there.
Yeah.
You know, you just think...
I'll be the first to admit there is nothing wrong with having a used car. I've been there, done that with a lot of them. I mean... Yeah, this is a prime example. I wish I'd never let go of that car. They were used.
I mean...
I had a car that was a lot newer than that and I went backwards. When I got that car and I went to work, the first person came to me and said, well, what you got rid of a new car for that that's older? I said, look, that's much more of a better car.
And this thing, I mean, my mate's taking the cat at me for having a Chevrolet, let's say. But to be honest with you...
We all take the cat of you for having Chevrolets.
But I don't care, because you know what, I really like it. It's brilliant to drive.
Again, it's each to their own with every sort of car in it. It'd be a boring world if we all drove around in the same car. It'd be like the Jetsons with bubble cars and that.
Yeah. But I'm not saying I'm never going to have a brand new car again, because I might do. But at the moment, I'm happy with that.
I know what kind of car I would like if the situation arose. And... You know, if that ever comes around again, even if the car turns out to be totally impractical for my life, I would at least buy that car so I've had that experience and can say I've had one.
Yeah.
And you know, basically, up to now, every single car I have really wanted, I have had, and I have not been disappointed with any of them.
I think really what we want to look at the end of the day is it comes down to two things. Number one, budget.
Yeah.
Can you afford what
Well,
you
you've
want?
always got to budget your means, haven't you, before you step into a
And
finance.
number two, what is personal preference? Some people, and I know people myself, who just like that peace of mind of going into a car dealership every 3 years and buying a new car. And you can't fault them for that. There are advantages. Yes, they know they lose money when they drive off the forecourt, but they're prepared to put up with that for the peace of mind and nicety of a new car. And there's a lot of people who think, you know, and I do get this point. A lot of people work hard for what they've got,
Yeah.
and they want to get in a nice car at the end of the day and search and see where the money's going.
Yeah.
And you can't moan at people for that. I mean, that's understandable. But at the same time, there's also people out there who just don't want to
But you see,
spend that kind
from
of
my
cash.
point of view, when I had the incident with the Puma and all that, I thought, right, I'm going to need something that's reliable and, let's say, covered at least, that if anything does go wrong,
Yeah.
I'm okay that because I'm going back into work and everything and all. That was another reason why I did this. But who's to say I might run this to its course and then think, right, I might sell this or part X in for something that I want but was used. I may do that, yeah. This is what I'm saying, everything's in the balance.
Yeah.
Like I say, I do 40 miles a day minimum in my car, and it's coming up to 11 years old next year, and it's fine. It's had a new pipe on the engine the last couple of days, 20 quid, done.
Mine,
You know.
yeah, I mean, last year, in the last job, I was going up to Newcastle twice a month. And up to Newcastle twice a month, down to Solihull once a month. Solihull once a month.
On a hill.
Solihull. And, you know, never even thought about anything. It just went. You stick it in the right direction, put your foot down, just make sure it's on the road.
I think there's something more
Don't fall
satisfying
asleep.
about when you. I find this myself when you've got a used car and it's all your own. You tend to be more pleased when it's doing well and things like that, and you think, you know, I've got a really good gem of a car here, and who needs a new car? If that makes you thinking like that.
There's a thing as well, you know, you park in a car park because someone pushes a trolley into it or it gets scratched. I don't care if my car gets scratched.
Oh,
It's
well,
covered in scratches.
At the,
It
end
doesn't
of the,
matter.
at the end of the day, I mean, I'm awful about any car. From every car I've had, from the first car right up to the one I've got now, I hate getting a mark on them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they've already got marks on them because they're used, and if that's the case. My Puma had scratches on it or did things like that, but I knew they was on.
Yeah.
I didn't want anything else.
Yeah,
And
there's
that
enough.
was it.
Anyway, going back on topic a little bit. So, I mean, you both. I mean, the only time I've ever had a new car has been when I've had company cars.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
said company,
Yeah.
didn't you?
But the thing was, they were still outside of work. They were still mine to
Use.
play around
Yeah.
and use with. But I often found, while things were bedding in, I'd never have a car long enough to actually get things bedded in, because we had Peugeot 306s for a while. They were brand new Peugeot 306s. And we'd be limited in the mileage we could do. I mean, we were field service engineers. We were blowing those mileage limitations within a month. Then we'd have to send the car back. So we'd have a car for a month if we were lucky.
And then it would go.
And then it would go.
Yeah.
And it's like, I never got to actually
Enjoy
sit
it.
there and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the car I enjoyed the most was when I managed to bag the Laguna. And I liked it so much that when the opportunity came up, I bought one of my own.
Yeah.
And absolutely loved those cars. I mean, first generation Laguna, not
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
not
yeah.
the new
I
ones.
remember the commercial for the Laguna, where I think it was a famous football player. He's met coming off private jet, steps off private jet, and he's met at the airport by a Laguna, Renault Laguna, and they pick him up, and how impressed he is to be in this car,
Yeah.
and that lot, and he's
It was
playing with the
a brilliant
gadgets.
car.
as
There's
a-
no doubting about that car. If anyone can remembers them on the Laguna, that was a seriously good looking car.
But you see, then at the time, that they were groundbreaking cars.
Yeah.
Here's
So-
something though. Here's one of the advantages of buying a used car, whether it's on finance or whether it's whether you're just buying outright. You often can get more for the money.
Yes, and this is another thing. I think how some new cars are going, they're all going, I still say this, going a bit samey and things like that. They're copying each other's
It's very
technologies and
same,
ideas.
actually, yeah.
But there's a lot of things I like about the older cars, which I think, I love that in that car and stuff like that. And this is why sometimes a used car, you get it and you think, oh, I remember that, how that was like, and this drove so well and I really like that. And it's the things that you don't sometimes get in new cars now.
I mean, the thing I mentioned as well is I'm not 100% decided on this. So I mean, family's growing and stuff like that. So the settee may or may not be long for my ownership, which means that I'm probably at some point, and I think it's probably going to be inevitable, I'm going to have to look at something bigger, some estate car. I can't think I never mentioned it to the guys off camera, but I'm more excited about looking for an older estate car that is going to just to be mine, just like Chevrolet was for, I don't know, well, price of about £50 grand, 1500, something like that. And then I am going into a new car dealership and buying a new car.
Yeah.
Because I know it's going to be mine.
There's nothing stopping you going into a new car dealership and rolling away with the estate of your dreams that you want.
I could go into any new car dealership this afternoon,
Yeah.
trade the Chevy in and come out with a brand new car.
Yeah.
Because I know I'd get credit and everything else, so no
Yeah.
problem. But I'm probably in a better position to do that now than I ever have been. But I don't want to.
No. But then again, that's another thing.
Not at the moment,
it's
anyway.
Personal choice, isn't it?
So yeah, that you may or may not be seeing a new car on the channel at some point.
Totally agree.
I think like I say, it comes down to personal preference. It comes down to budget. It comes down to what you want.
Yeah.
And so all I'm going to say is, if you're wondering what to do and you're in that situation, choose what you need for your needs. But secondly to that, and most importantly, make sure you can afford it. But anyway, I think that's it for this discussion. Please, like we said, send us your thoughts, send us your experiences. What have you had done? You know, what have you bought? What have you not bought, and reasons why?
And you'll just have to excuse me now because I just have to sign the finance agreement for my brand new Mercedes estate.
Well, for the discussion anyway, that's it. Cheers.
Bye.